Hey everyone, I just wanted to give you a heads up on how we're going to get the grades over from my IT lab to Desire to Learn. It's a really different process. And there's something that really needs to be done in the grade book in order to make sure it gets across as points because we changed everything to points. And right now in the grade book it shows a percentage score. When you export that CSV file out of Desire to Learn, it seems to go in as points. So what you're going to need to do is go to the instructor gradebook. Again, not the instructor custom view, but the instructor gradebook. Come on. It's getting there. There we go. You're going to have to go into every single assignment. And click on the options and choose Show Raw Score. And then you can navigate to the next one. I'm just going to do the orientation ones for now. Show Raw Score. All right, again, Show Raw Score. Show Raw Score. And the orientation project has an issue with showing the raw score there. I mean, we can edit the grades on each one of these and make it 9 out of 9, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it like that, and you're going to have to do some manipulation in Excel for that one. The other orientation projects shouldn't be a problem. Let me just make sure, especially the ones that are 50 points. Let me go in here. And that would be the homework one. They haven't done it, so it shouldn't be a problem with that one. So we have to show the raw score. That's the first step. Get all of the columns in that method. The next step is what we have to do out of Desire to Learn. So I'm going to go into Desire to Learn, and I'm going to go there. And I'm going to choose a course, and I didn't merge my courses. I'm going to choose 1146. I'm going to go to the grades. I'm going to go on the enter grades. That's where you need to be. I'm going to go ahead and do an export. And when you do an export here, there's a couple fields that need to be checked as soon as it comes up here. Here it comes. So what you want to make sure, user details, last name and first name are not going to be checked. I've already checked them. Make sure you check them. But the other nice thing you can do here is just export out what grade items you want. So you don't have to export out everything at first and then keep it. I mean, you can if you want, but I'm going to do this kind of on a week by week basis. So in this particular case, I'm just going to choose the screenshot launch tool one. I'm just going to do one for now. I'm going to go ahead and export as a CSV file. And then I'm going to go ahead and save that file on my computer. So now what I want to do is in my IT lab, like I would normally do, go to the instructor custom view here. It's going to come up in a second. And like I normally do, I'm going to go ahead and download the CSV file. And again, I'm going to go ahead and save that one. All right, so I have the two files that I need here. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to open up the D2L one, and I'm going to open it up in Excel 2013 on the parallel side of things. So what I'm going to do here, this is my 1146 class, is I want to do my sort. So I want to sort by last name so everything is kind of set up the way I want. It's the normal thing. You choose the sort, expand the column, sort by column B here, and whoops. And for some reason it did that, so I will cut that and paste here. Didn't do what I need to do. Sorry about this. There it is, insert plus. There we go. So now I have that, and then what I want to do is open up the custom view from my IT lab, which gives me the same thing. Now for me, because I have 2 courses, I created a section number in here to be able to sort by section number. And again, I want to do the same thing here. And sort by section number. There we go. And then I can actually, what I would do, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my section number down here and the student view. And go ahead and delete those cells. Again, sorry this is long, but it's important. So what I need to do for the Excel part here is make sure that that's 9 out of 9. So what I want to do in this particular case, and I want to get rid of all these other columns in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and delete everything out except for what I want. Now, of course, I want the screenshot one right now. But what I would do here is I would use a formula that if it's, this is 100 out of 100, give them 9 points. Put 9 points in there. So the next thing to do, of course, is to match up my course, my D2L roster. Unfortunately, I have a couple students that still haven't gone in there. So I'll look in here, and I'll match them up. And I'll look down. Oops. Brown, Cole is number 6. Deland, Drake, Fairley, Figaro, I get 22. See, 22 is all messed up. So Drake, 9, Figaro. And, okay, Lee is the first one that's a problem here, so I need to insert Lee here. And eventually she'll probably go on. She hasn't signed in yet. Got Lee there, 14. 15 is Martin, McKenna, Koff, Moose, Patterson, Pettis. Okay, Rutherford is number 22, so I want to insert her at 22. I think those are the only 2 that mess things up here. Okay, so now I have that, and you'll notice here the first column is the same, screenshot is the same. But what I want to do now is grab all of the numbers in here. The problem is 5 out of 5 won't work. So one of the other things you're going to have to do before you copy over or after you copy over is to do a search. So I'm going to do Control F, and I'm going to do a replace. I'm going to look for, in this particular case, /5, and replace it with nothing. So let me just make sure the first replace works. And then I'm just going to replace all, and it'll go through. And then I have to do /9 and replace all, and that's all done. So I want a raw score, so I want to get rid of the things. And again, with that, I'm going to have to figure out the 100%. The other greater project shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to go ahead and close that. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and copy. I'm going to go ahead and copy that and paste that into here. So now I have my raw score. Now the next thing you need to do before you save this and bring this back into Desire to Learn is get rid of the last and first column names. Those are only there for you to be able to know which students you need to move over. So we need to delete those, and we need to shift the shells over. Make sure you leave the end of line indicator. That needs to be there. So the only thing that's really important is this org defined ID and the online indicator. And then this should have the same name. That's what our hope is. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and save this as, and I'm going to put it on my desktop here. I'm just going to call it example import. You can call it whatever you want. And let's put it on the desktop. Go ahead and save that. Of course, it's a CSV file, so it'll always ask you that. Go ahead and close that. And the next step is the critical one to see whether this really truly works, because I haven't taken through that last step. So there's the example. I'm going to go ahead and stick this out onto the desktop. So now that should be, look, whoops, I didn't get there. Sometimes it doesn't. There we go. So that should be on the desktop there. Let's make sure. There it is. So now I'm going to go back into Desire to Learn. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my grades. And I'm going to go through an import. So I'm going to go import. And I'm going to go ahead and browse. There's my example. Crossing fingers. Good. It says no error warnings, meaning that it's going to import. I click continue. It shows me kind of what's going to happen. Allison had 0 out of 5. Now they have 5 out of 5s. And, you know, again, because I don't have the zeros in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and import. And it looks like it bypassed anybody that didn't have a score on there. So it gives you kind of an idea of what's going to get imported. Import is successful. And there's the launch tool that gives them 100% on there. I'd rather have the score show up. So I'm not sure how that all works. Properties. This would be under edit. Maximum 5 points. Show description. Maybe it's because of the schema. It's a percentage to schema. Display options. That's great. Anyway, I'll figure that out later, but you saw that what happens is the grades get imported, but to see the students that hadn't got a grade, now of course I'll push zeros in, there'll be zeros in there after the deadline, but it pushed the grades in for those that had grades. Sorry for the very long email, but that is the process.